We are live. Welcome back to another edition of the Earle Sports Bet Show. My name is Nicholas Earle. Running solo today for the March Madness Day 2 of the round of 64. We get 16 games we're going to be looking at for this one here. It should be a good slate. Looking over what's happened today so far, it started off good, and then it's come crumbling down a little bit here. Pending what we are seeing in this Creighton game, which it's 62-62 heading into potentially heading into overtime. I'm actually going to have that game up for a second to see what happens here. 9.1 seconds left on that one. But Michigan came through for me today. The Providence Friars, it was always the Friars, and the Memphis Tigers money line all hit. And then between UConn, Marquette, and Indiana, everything fell apart. Those last three. I have Creighton right now. They're 62-62, but San Diego State's going to be shooting some foul shots, I believe. Yeah, it was a foul on that play there. Tie game there. I have San Francisco and the over, and then UCLA and the over in the last couple of games of the night. It's still waiting to leave. All right. I'll see you at like 2 a.m. tonight then. So we are hoping that tonight turns around a little bit here with a little bit of Bruins and Dons going for a few California teams. But we'll get into today's or tomorrow's card. We're going to start off with a pretty interesting matchup here. I really like this one here. Loyola, Chicago, the Ramblers are taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Buckeyes are around 1-point favorites, total of 132.5 in this game. And this is, I think, going to be one of the more popular 10-seed picks, Loyola, Chicago. And I can understand why. This is a team that's made a few runs the last few years. Sister Jean's always someone that the public loves to back. And we're going to do the opposite here. We're going to go with Ohio State here. Our number was around 2.5, 3 for this game. And we see some value here on the Ohio State Buckeyes money line around -110, -115, depending on your book. So looking at that spot, yeah, I mean, I'm going to get up some numbers real quick here. As we have Loyola Chicago entering this game at 25-7 out of the Missouri Valley Conference, though. Their toughest opponents were really, when we look at it, Drake, University of Northern Iowa, Missouri State. They're not in a good conference, these Ramblers. And on the other side, Ohio State plays in one of the best conferences in basketball in the Big Ten. They finished 5th in the Big Ten behind Iowa, Purdue, Illinois, and Wisconsin. I like this Ohio State Buckeyes team. I think this is going to be one of those where people are going to sleep on this team, and people are going to love to flock towards the Ramblers. We're going to go the other way there. Give me the Ohio State Buckeyes in the first matchup here. Moved on to number 2 seed Auburn Tigers out of the SEC. They're taking on the ASUN regular season champions, not tournament champions. Obviously, the Bellarmine Knights won that, but they weren't qualified to make it into the big dance because they've only been playing Division I ball for, I think, 2 or 3 years when you're supposed to be playing 4 before you can make the big dance. So we're getting the Gamecocks here. They're going to be taking on the Auburn Tigers. 15.5-point favorites are the Auburn Tigers in this game, a total around 138.5. And for this one, I think we got to absolutely nothing in this game. We lean towards the Auburn Tigers. Let me see if we had this one written down that we were going to play it or not. At 15.5, it's a lean towards Auburn laying the points. Not one we're particularly confident on. As for a total, I think we passed on this game as well. For a total, it is we got this one at around a 134.5. It's 1. So we'll see around 4 points of value on the under in that game there. Looking at a few numbers there. And really no play in this game. I'm going to lean towards Auburn to get the job done and cover this big number. I'm not particularly high on the Gamecocks here. They didn't even win their conference tournament. They lost to the Jacksonville Dolphins in their second tournament game in the semifinals. And if it wasn't for Jacksonville losing the Bellarmine, they wouldn't be in this tournament right now. So I'm going to lean towards the Auburn Tigers for them to take care of business here, but no play on this one so far. No, we've already had our 15 seed knock off a number 2 seed. Now it's the St. Peter's Peacocks cashing as 17.5, 18-point underdogs against the Kentucky Wildcats. Crazy stuff there. I don't think that happens again tomorrow. We have 3 number 2 seeds going tomorrow. Villanova, Duke, and Auburn. We'll go over all those. Next matchup, though, we get the Bobcats of Montana State taking on the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. For this matchup here, we're getting Texas Tech out of the – we're in overtime in Creighton, by the way. That game went to overtime. I'm guessing tied 63-63 or something along those lines. 62-62. They started. Okay. But let me get up my lines for this game. I believe we're leaning towards the Red Raiders in this spot here. I really like the Red Raiders for this tournament here. Leaning towards them. Not going to be playing anything in this game, though. We have this game priced around 16. It's 15.5, so a half-point lean towards the Red Raiders in this spot here. And as for a total, we got nothing for this spot here. We're going to – let's see where the number for the total is. I'm just trying to scroll through everything. Is there's the first bracket here. We had this at a 135.5, so a 3.5-point lean towards the over in this spot at 132. Not playing anything in this game, though. This one's a complete pass, lean towards Texas Tech. I do have a ticket for Texas Tech to win the region in that region there. For Purdue Boilermakers, they're taking on the Yale Bulldogs in this matchup here. They're 16-point favorites in this game with a total of 143.5. We're getting the Yale Bulldogs, the champions of the Ivy League, and then we're getting the Purdue Boilermakers out of the Big Ten. Yale 19-11 this season, 27-7 for Purdue. Yale is coming in off of knocking off Penn and Princeton to win the Ivy League and make it into the tournament. Purdue is coming in, I believe, off of they lost to Iowa in the Big Ten championship. I like this Purdue Boilermakers team. I think that now with Kentucky out of it, they have a clear path to the Elite Eight with no Kentucky, where they'll have to go through Yale and then most likely Texas or Virginia Tech. I think that they have a clear path to the Elite Eight now that Kentucky is gone. So that should be interesting there. And looking at the spot here, I like Purdue. I had this game around 17.5, 18, so I'm probably going to be laying the chalk here at Purdue. I think they're just going to overmatch here with this Yale team. I don't think Yale stays in this game at all. And as for a total, we're liking the under in this game. We had this around a 135, so around 8.5 points of value here with those with the under in this game. I think the under is going to be our bigger play in this one, but we have both. I believe we have both the Boilermakers minus the points, and Boilermakers minus 15.5, minus 16, depending on your book, and under 143.5 for that matchup. We're going to keep trucking along. We have 16 games to go through, so I'm not going to spend too much time on every game. We're going to move on here with another. This is a 2:15 matchup here. We get the Delaware Fighting Blue Hens taking on the Villanova Wildcats here. Delaware 22-12. Villanova 26-7. The Fighting Blue Hens out of the Colonial Athletic Association. They knocked off UNCW in the Colonial Championship to make it into the tournament. They knocked off Towson and they knocked off Drexel in the first 2 rounds of that tournament. They did finish 4th in the regular season as the Stars beat the Canadians. Damn it. Not what we wanted to see. Bummer. And looking at this spot here, we had obviously a 2-seed fall today. I don't think we got to this game. We're leaning towards actually Villanova At minus 15 could be a look now. And the under. Villanova laying the points in the under is probably where we're going to be going in this game. We had this on 17.5. Now it's down to 15. I definitely do like the side of Nova. I think Nova could be an interesting team, winning a couple rounds in this tournament and getting a matchup against either Tennessee or Michigan. Could be a fun matchup there. I like the Wildcats in this spot here. I'm going to lay the 15 points, and I'm going to take the under 133, 133.5 for this matchup. Rolling with the Wildcats and the under for this one. Just expect them to shut down that offense, or shut down the Blue Hens, which in the Colonial is just not a team that I think that is any good, to be completely honest. So that's where we're rocking with that one there. Villanova and the under. Next matchup here, this is one I like as well. We have the Miami Hurricanes and the USC Trojans in this next matchup here. We have the Trojans as around minus 1.5. I typed in minus 130 in this matchup here. Total around 140 in this game. As for a total, we lean towards the over, a couple point lean towards the over, but our favorite play in this one is the USC money line at minus 130. We had this game priced around 3. It's around 1.5. We're going to take the money line here, lay the little bit of juice. I do not have a problem with that at all. I think that this is a game where I'm not particularly high on the ACC this year, and the Miami Hurricanes are a team I don't particularly trust. So I'm going to go with USC to win this game. I think they do I think they do take care of business in this one here, laying the minus 130 with the Trojans here against the Hurricanes. Our next matchup here, we get a first 4 team taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide. The Tide 4-point favorites in this game, total 152. Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, coming off of a win where they won it on St. Patrick's Day. It went to double overtime against Rutgers. They won that game. Definitely had some people losing a few years off their life watching that game. We have Alabama, who's been not great down the stretch, 19-13 this year, and they're a 6 seed. And Notre Dame 23-10 out of the ACC, coming in off of that nice win against Rutgers. On the other side, Alabama losing against Vandy in the first round of the tournament. This is a team that's been struggling. They've lost 3 straight games heading into March Madness. They lost to A&M and LSU to end the regular season, and they lost by 6 to Vandy in their first tournament game. This is not an Alabama team I particularly trust, and I'm probably going to have a play on the Fighting Irish here, +4, and potentially looking at that money line as well. We didn't hang. I had this game around 3, so I see a point of value here with the Fighting Irish. If I can get 4.5 here with the Irish, I'm going to probably pull the trigger on that. As for right now, I do not have this game bet, but if I would be leaning towards the side, I'd be leaning towards the underdog here, the Fighting Irish at +4, 4.5, or 4.5 if you can find it, against the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm not super high on the Tide this year, so we're going to look to fade them here in the first game if we can get the price correct. Another one from one 6-11 matchup to another 6-11 matchup. The Virginia Tech Hokies taking on the Texas Longhorns. The ACC champion Virginia Tech Hokies. We cashed a 10-1 ticket on them in that game. That was a very nice casher for us there. Texas coming out of the Big 12, they lost to TCU and I believe the semifinals. In their first tournament game, they lost, against TCU. Virginia Tech, obviously, they won 4 games, they won 4 games in 4 days. They beat Clemson, Notre Dame, UNC, and Duke to make it all the way and win the ACC. So quite the run there for the Hokies, and I have a feeling this is where the Hokies run ends. I'm leaning towards the Longhorns in this game. I'm gonna cut the ties here with Virginia Tech. We rode them all the way through the ACC tournament. I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to lean towards the Longhorns in this spot. I don't think I'm going to bet it. We like the over in this game more than anything else. So we're going to go over 123 in this game with a lean towards the Longhorns, but not betting this game at all. So just the lean there with Texas for me, and the over is the actual bet for this game, over 123. Next matchup here, the number 4 seed Illinois Fighting Illini are taking on the Chattanooga Mocs in this matchup here. We have Illinois as 8-point favorites in this game with a total of 136. And looking at Chattanooga, they're first in the Southern Conference. They knocked off Furman in the championship game on that crazy buzzer beater. They beat Wofford in the Citadel the next 2 games, or the 2 games before that. They went on, they win their conference tournament. On the other side, the Fighting Illini, they did lose in their first game against Indiana in that tournament. They ran into an Indiana team that went on a little bit of a run there in that tournament. I like the Illini in this spot here. We had this game priced, I want to say around 10.5 here. So we see value here laying 8 points here with the Illinois Fighting Illini. As for a total, we didn't get to anything in this game. We would be leaning slightly towards an over. We had this around 139, 139.5. It's 136. So it's a lean towards an over in this game. But we like the Illini laying 8 points against the Mocs. We think they take care of business in this one and win rather convincingly. So give me the Fighting Illini minus the 8 points here as they take on the Chattanooga Mocs. All right, we're going to keep it going here. Let me click it. There we go. The CSU Fullerton Titans taking on the Duke Blue Devils in this next matchup here. The Blue Devils, 18.5-point favorites, total around 145.5. And for this game, we had this game lined at 18.5, so no value here on the side. I want to lean towards CSU plus the points. I just not particularly high on this Duke team. I think Duke probably gets bounced either against Michigan State if Michigan State beats Davidson, or I think that we can see Texas Tech knock them off as well. So I think that the Blue Devils are a team that they'll win this game. The Duke's going to win this game. Whether or not they're going to advance further than that, I don't know. We like nothing in this game. So this game was a complete pass. As someone who's not a fan of Duke, I'm just going to root against Duke. That's just the way it's going to be. Next matchup here, the LSU Tigers are taking on the Iowa State Cyclones. The Tigers are 4-point favorites in this game with a total around 128. And I like a side for this game, and we do have a play up on the site for the total. We like the over. We had this game around a 141.5, and we're seeing 128. So we see a lot of value here on this over. Probably one of the bigger values on a total on the slate. I think this game goes way over this 128.5 number. And I personally like the LSU Tigers. I had this game around 6.5, 7. So I see value here with the LSU. So I'm going to have a personal play here on the Tigers. I think the Tigers can make it a few rounds. I'm not particularly high on Wisconsin. So I think they can knock off Wisconsin in the next round if Colgate doesn't knock out Wisconsin. And I think that the Tigers are going to give the Auburn Tigers or whoever they may play, the USC or Miami, a nice run for their money. So that's where I'm going to be looking for this game here. I like the Tigers and I like the over here in this spot. And looking at this game, we can get, let's see. I'm just going to be curious here. LSU money line in the over 128, you can get around plus 195 for. I don't hate that as a little two-team or as a little correlated parlay because I think LSU wins this game, and it looks like Creighton's going to pull it off here up to with 2 seconds to go. I'm going to watch this real quick. That would be huge because I have Creighton money line, which that would be a nice little turnaround here because I thought they were done as Nashville loses in overtime. Fantastic. We have San Diego State with the ball. And they almost just tied it. And Creighton out of bounds, 3.7 seconds left for San Diego State with the basketball. We're going to watch this game out real quick, and then we're going to move on here because we have 5 games after this. So that we're going to hold on for just a second. Tonight's not going particularly great. But it is what it is. But it would be nice if Creighton can get us a win here, because I also did live bet Creighton at plus 4.5 as well. I think that looks decent unless this goes to double overtime and they fall apart in double overtime. So at least the Creighton live bet for me looks good. And that would be nice if I can hit that. Vermont is down 20-17 with 8 minutes to go in the first. So that's there. And then San Fran, or UCLA starts in 2 minutes against Akron. They're 13.5-point favorites. We do have UCLA in the over for that game. And so we have San Fran in the over. That game starts at 10:15-ish, so about 8 minutes for that game, for when that game starts. But we got 4.3 seconds left in that game. We do have the Arizona Wildcats and the Wright State Raiders in this Wright State Raiders in this next game. The Wildcats are 21.5-point favorites. Wright State winning their first 4 game against the Bryant Bulldogs. I believe that was a higher scoring game, 93-82 or something along those lines. Went way over the total. We had the under. That was our first loss of the tournament. Against Arizona, this is my pick to win the whole thing, is Arizona. I like Arizona, but I had this game priced at 21.5, so I see no value backing Arizona in this game. I'll probably look to back them later in the tournament, but for right now, this game is a complete pass for me. So I'm just going to stay completely off this game, not trying to lay 21.5 points on the Arizona Wildcats. And we didn't really handicap a side for this game because when we did handicap all of them, nothing was determined. Next matchup here, the Houston Cougars are taking on the UAB Blazers in this next one. The Cougars, out of the American Athletic Conference, the AAC champions. They knocked off, I want to say, Memphis in the they knocked off SMU, I believe. They're taking on the UAB Blazers out of Conference USA, the Conference USA champions here. And I think this is a sneaky spot for UAB, the Blazers. I think they cover this game. At the very least, I would lean that way. Our number is 8.5 for this game, and it is Creighton basketball, and they're going to win this game. 0.2 seconds left. The Creighton Blue Jays are going to knock off the Aztecs of San Diego State. Finally getting me a nice little plus 120 win there. Cash it. Fade the Mountain West. Went 4-0 in this tournament. All 4 Mountain West teams out in the first round of the first 4. But back to the game we were talking about here, the Cougars and the Blazers in this spot here. I'm going to lean towards the Blazers. I had this game at 8.5, though, so I see no value on backing the side. I might take a shot with UAB, but this is a complete pass for me in this game. Houston coming in 29-5, 27-7 for UAB. I would love to see Houston win this, and I would love to see Houston go decently far to represent the AAC. But this is a spot here where I'm going to stay completely off the game, and we'll see what happens. This is one game I'm not staying completely off of. We have 3 games remaining, and I'm probably going to have a play on 2 of them, and I might sprinkle a underdog on one of them, on the third one. We get the Michigan State Spartans and the Davidson Wildcats. Davidson coming in 27-6. Michigan State 22-12. Davidson winning or losing in the A10 championship to Richmond. They did knock off Fordham and St. Louis in the first 2 rounds of that tournament. On the other side, we have Michigan State, which they knocked off Maryland and Wisconsin in the Big Ten tournament. They did fall to Purdue, and I want to say the semifinals. I like this Spartans team in this spot here. Looking at our power rankings for this game, we have Michigan State as a 3.5-point favorite in this game. We're going to take them on the money line here, which you're laying very, very little for that money line. Michigan State money line is minus 115. Very, very reasonable price here for these Spartans. That's where we're going into this game. Plain and simple. Spartans win this game. Money line minus 115. We see a lot of value here with Sparty Nation to get the job done against the Davidson Wildcats. This one. I like this game. I haven't bet it. I don't know if I'm going to bet it, but I like this game. We have the number 14 seed Colgate Raiders and the number 3 seed of the Wisconsin Badgers. The Badgers come into this game 24-7. They were the regular season Big Ten champions. They lost in their conference tournament to Michigan State in their first game. Colgate out of the Patriot League went through Bucknell, Lehigh, and Navy to make it here, and they finished on top. They finished on top of their conference. I like this Colgate team. I think this is a good Colgate team, and I think they're going to be, at the very least, going to be threatening in this game. Looking at this spot here, maybe if you don't want to play them full game, just take them first half +4. I think at the very least they come out strong. I'm not a huge fan of this Badgers team. I had this game priced at 7.5, so I think the price is 100% right. But I might take the Colgate money line in this game. May take Colgate to win this game straight out. So that's where I'm going to be looking at for this one here. I'm leaning towards Colgate +7.5 and on the money line. I might get to it. I don't know yet, but I might. But I definitely it's dog or pass for me in that game. And it leads us to our final game here. We get the Pirates of Seton Hall and the TCU Horned Frogs in this one here. The Horned Frogs coming out of the Big 12. I want to say they made it to the Big 12 championship game, if I'm not mistaken. They lost to Kansas. I don't remember if that was the championship game though. Let me see real quick. No, they lost to Kansas in the semifinals. Kansas went on to beat Texas Tech. There it is. In this spot here, they're taking on the Seton Hall Pirates, which lost to UConn in their second game of the tournament. Seton Hall finished 5th in the Big East. I like the Big East, even though Marquette and UConn let us down. I don't think the Pirates are going to in this spot, though. I'm gonna lay the -115. I think it's with the Pirates as well. Yeah, Seton Hall -115. I think this game the Pirates take care of business and they win this one. So we had this game priced around, I want to say Pirates -2.5. We have this at Seton Hall -2.5. So we see a little bit of value here at laying the -115 with the Pirates. So that's exactly what we're going to do in this matchup here. Give me the Seton Hall Pirates to finish out this slate here for college basketball for day 2 of the round of 64. Fun slate there. So a little bit of a recap here. We're rolling with Ohio State. We're leaning Auburn. We are on Purdue and the under. We are on Villanova under with a lean towards Villanova. We are on the money line here for the Trojans. I'm leaning towards Notre Dame +4 and +155. Leaning towards Texas. We like Illinois -8. I like LSU, and we like the over 5.5. I'm leaning towards the Blazers +8.5 and +310. I like Michigan State, leaning towards Colgate +7.5 +265. And finishing it off with the Pirates, -115. But that is going to wrap it up for this show here. If this information was helpful to you guys at all, feel free to hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Turn on those post notifications so you guys are notified whenever we are live here at ESB, which is anywhere in between 10 and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Earle Sports Bet Show. We're also going live around 9 to 10 o'clock at night the next couple nights for the round of 32. Starting on Saturday, we're going to be live Friday night for the Saturday games and Saturday night for the Sunday games. When it comes to March Madness, we're going to be doing shows like this. And then when it gets to the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8, we'll add those into the ESB show. But that is everything for today's show. We want to thank you guys, as always, for watching. And good luck with all of your March Madness picks and bets. Good night, guys.